And joining us now, the former Secretary of Defense, the former CIA Director Leon Panetta. His new book is just out. It is called Worthy Fights, a memoir of leadership in war and peace. Mr. Secretary, we're glad to have you.
Nice to be with you, Bob.
You just heard Elizabeth. Do you think Baghdad is actually in danger of coming under attack now?
I don't think we can take anything for granted with ISIS. They're moving against Kobani on the Syrian-Turkish border. They're moving in Anbar province, as we've seen. This is a well-trained, a well-armed, and frankly, they are well-commanded in terms of their ability to conduct war. And I think we just have to be very aware that they represent a significant threat.
We have now been conducting airstrikes for what, 9 weeks, and yet, as you say, they continue to advance. In some ways, they seem stronger rather than weaker. Is this strategy working?
This is a strategy that is going to demand a lot of patience. I think the president has taken the right steps. We've got troops to try to help the Iraqis get their act together in terms of their security force. We're conducting these airstrikes. We're trying to train and arm the rebels in Syria. We've built a coalition force, but all of this requires great leadership on the part of the United States. We're going to have to keep this together, and we're going to have to be very patient. We're going to have to be very determined. These airstrikes can help to a degree. I think they've helped kind of stifle some of the momentum in ISIS. But to make these airstrikes work, you've got to have information on targets, and you've got to be able to pinpoint where the enemy is located. And that's something, frankly, that's going to take time.
Basically, what you're saying, we have to have some kind of people on the ground here.
You've got to have boots on the ground. Maybe it doesn't have to be American boots on the ground, but you have got to have people on the ground who can identify targets and who can help us develop the kind of effective airstrikes that are going to be needed if we're going to be able to undermine, destroy this vicious enemy that we're dealing with.
The President's National Security Advisor, Susan Rice, was on television this morning, and she said, if I understand it, there has been no recommendation from military commanders that the United States put combat troops in Iraq. Does that sound right to you?
Well, the one thing I know about our military commanders is they are going to be looking at every possibility of how we effectively deal with ISIS. And I don't know what recommendations they've made or not made, but I will say this. I think the President of the United States has to be open to whatever recommendations are made in order to ensure that we are effective in going after ISIS.
She said flatly this morning, we are not going to get involved in a ground war in Iraq. We are not going to put troops in there. Should she be ruling that out?
I've always felt that the President of the United States ought to keep every option available in dealing with this kind of enemy. It doesn't mean that we need to invade. It doesn't mean we have to, as Susan Rice said, have combat troops on the ground. But I think you want to protect every possible option because we are dealing with a very resilient enemy. And the only way you deal with a resilient enemy is with flexibility, adaptability, and the kind of determination that we're going to need if we're ever going to win this war.
We're going to take a break here. We'll come back and talk some more about this in just a minute.